Yeah, it's all mind stuff,
I know.
And the further we go with this, the more we recognize that it's all mind stuff. And the more we can just sort of, we need our answers still, but we can also let it go. And that gets into some of the more advanced practices and self-inquiry and those types of things. But I guess we probably did enough with meditation for today.
Yeah, one last thing, and that is in regards to meditating on a subject. Like, for instance, someone will say, well, let me go meditate on that. That's not really meditating then, is it? Or is it?
Well, I'll tell you, it really crosses over into what we call samyama practice, which is you'll recall from our last interview, it's a combination of the last three limbs of yoga, which is attention on an object, the process of meditation, and samadhi, which is the inner silence. So when people say, let me meditate on an object, what they're really saying is let me take this meaning, this intention, or this question, and release it into stillness, which is the process of samyama. And once you've done that, then that stillness, which we know is very creative, right? We're talking about that.
Yes.
It will come back with something from that vibration you have released into it, that question or that inquiry or whatever it is.
Yes.
So when you say I'm going to meditate on something, what you really mean, and most people wouldn't realize this, but what you really mean is I'm going to do samyama on this. And, that's a whole wonderful area to talk about. Once you have some inner silence present, there's so many other things you can do with that. And it makes life so much more interesting.
So much more juicy.
Juicy, yes.
Yeah.
Very juicy.
Yeah.
And flowing and loving and creative and all those things.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're coming close to the end of this hour, and what I'd like to do is set us up for our next interview, which will be about pranayama.
Yes, doing pranayama next would be great. That's a wonderful subject, and there's a lot we can talk about there.
Yes, I'm excited about that, because that's obviously the next part in the practice, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Once we're stable in deep meditation, which can take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, or maybe more, like we were talking about before, depends on the person. But then spinal breathing pranayama is the next thing that we add on, and that has an effect on our meditation as well, in terms of its effects.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really looking forward to that, Yogani, and I'd like to let our listeners know again your website. It's www.aypsite, S-I-T-E, that's all one word, .org, and that stands for Advanced Yogic Practices Site.org. Yogani, thank you again for your wisdom and your knowledge.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ann. It's been great being here.
And we'll speak to you next month.
Thank you.
Aloha and namaste.
Namaste.
I hope you enjoyed this month's show. I'm Dr. Ann West. You've been listening to Truth from the Source. I'll be back the first Sunday of the month. Namaste, aloha, and Goddess bless to you. www.drannwest.net